Hello all. Quick intro into integration. Here we're going to see a function f of x. We take the derivative. In the case of x squared, we know that that's 2x. Anytime that we have a function f of x where x is to the nth power, we know that we can follow this rule. We know that this rule is the power rule. So f of x, we take our derivative, and that's how we get f prime of x. If I gave you this function here, take a second. Exactly, you would get 3. So we took 3, which is x to the first power, we minus 1, and we also multiply this by our exponent n. We have 3 times x to the 0, which we know simplifies to 1. 1 times 3, we get our 3. Now here, take a second, try this one out. Pause if you need to. We know that we're going to have f prime of x. Remember, we're using the power rule here. 3 is going to come down 3 times 7x, and we're subtracting 1 squared plus, remember the derivative of any constant is 0. So we know that f prime of x is going to become 21x squared. So what happened to the constant? As we know, the derivative of any constant is always 0. Take some time, if you want to prove why. I have a little diagram here. Remember, if we had a function f of x equals 3, for example, the constant function here, we have no x variable. The function is always going to have a slope of 0, a rate of change of 0. So therefore, f prime of x is always going to be 0 on a constant function. So remember the power rule? How can we work backwards from that? If I were to give you f prime of x equals 3x squared, some of you may just memorize it, but how would you work backwards to get f of x? So this is where the idea of integration comes in. We want to take this power rule, and we're going to do something called the reverse power rule. So the reverse power rule involves taking an integral of f prime of x. And how we set this up, think, what is the opposite of multiplying? So we're going to divide. And what's the opposite of subtracting 1? We're going to add 1. But we also have to add 1 to this n as well. So using this as an example here, 3x squared, let's follow the formula. So we have 3x squared, and that's going to be plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1. So we're going to have 3x to the 3 over 3. So it looks like our final answer here is just going to be x cubed. So remember that the derivative of any constant is always 0. And you're probably looking at this thinking, I don't see a constant. And that's the point. When we took this derivative, this could have been anything. This could have been a plus 1, could have been a plus 10, plus 101. plus anything. There could have been any amount of constants there. So the whole purpose of integration when we're doing this indefinite integral, we'll touch on that later, is that there could be any constant here. So f of x, we know is x cubed plus any constant. So we just use plus c, and this is any arbitrary constant. Through the checking your understanding questions. So just pause the video to give yourself time to write through them. Pause here. Feel free to pause here. And feel free to pause here. Okay, now that you've paused and tried them out, I will give these a shot here. So remember, we are going to be taking the antiderivative, which is the opposite function of a derivative. So if we took something that gave us y prime, the opposite of that would have to be y. And remember, we are going to have 3x to the first power plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1. And then what's our constant? We don't know for sure. That's why we add that plus c. So we know that y is going to equal 3x squared over 2 plus c. Remember here, we took a derivative, we got y prime. So to undo that, we know that we would have y 5x to the 2, remember plus 1 over 2 plus 1. We can't forget about that plus c. So we have y to the 5x cubed over 3 y equals 10x to the 9 plus 1 over 9 plus 1. Remember that this is plus c. So we're going to have y equals 10x to the 10 over 10. We can reduce this right here, which is going to give us y equals x to the power of 10. Okay, we're moving on to ones that have more than one term here. So undoing the derivative of y, we get, or y prime, we get y. We're going to have x squared plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1 minus, remember, we're going to treat this just like the coefficient as if there was a variable there. So we have 1 over 2 multiplied by x to the 0 plus 1. So this is multiplied by 0 plus 1. You could call that 0 as well, or 1, sorry. And this is plus c, all at the end. Some form of constant. So we have y equals x to the 3 over 3 minus 1x over 2, sorry. And then this is plus c. We also have here y prime equals 4 plus x. Y equals, it's going to be 4x plus x squared over 2 plus c. And finally, we have y equals 4x to the 3 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 plus 3x to the 3 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 plus 2x to the 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 plus 1 times x to the 0 plus 1 over 0 plus 1. So we know that this is going to be y equals 4x to the 4 over 4 plus 3x to the 4 over 4 plus 2x squared over 2 plus 1x over 1. Simplifying these, we can collect these like terms here. Which is going to give us y equals 7x to the power 4 over 4 plus x squared plus x and plus c.